If you want to travel long term, you're going to need to find a way to make money while you travel. But how do you make money while you travel? Chelle Nelson is a seasonal hospitality worker. She spends her summers on Martha's Vineyard and her winters in Aspen. If this sounds like the life, then you need to watch this video. All right, so hey Shel, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm so excited to talk to you today because everybody knows that when I traveled for that first year, I traveled on savings. I don't know anything about how to make money while you're traveling like you do. So everybody who's watching today, get your pen out, get your paper out, take some notes because we're about to learn today. All right. So first, Shel, let us know, who are you? Where are you from?
Okay, so my name's Shel. I'm originally from Dallas, but like anyone, where you live and grow up, you really can't stay there. And I've always been a free spirit. So as soon as I graduated college, I was out of there. That's just a little bit about me. Something that I love to do, and what really got me first into traveling is I started back in my college days, and it's because I fell in love with Prince. So that's like a big thing about me. And that's a big thing that got me just getting out there, going to traveling, because I was traveling, going to go see his shows. And then I was like, oh, I really don't have to stay in Texas. I can really go out and do my own thing and find my own way. So that's what really got me started.
What show? Where did you go? Where did you see him?
Oh, my first time I saw him in Chicago.
Was it like coming home or something? Coming home tour or something?
I think it was like the Welcome to America tour. It was his first tour in the U.S. for since a couple of years. I think since like 2007 or something. But that was my first time seeing him, and it was just so amazing. And then it just transpired from there, seeing him at his home at Paisley Park in Minneapolis, seeing him in LA, and all types of different places. So it was pretty awesome. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have Paisley Park pictures on your Instagram?
Yeah, they're on there.
Okay, she's the Lord 319. I'm gonna put it on the screen. If I can figure it out and put that on the screen, because y'all want to see that. I want to see it. I saw Prince in Chicago. I think it was probably that same tour. I saw him in Chicago. He did like 3 days or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
I went to one of those too.
Those whole 3 days.
No, you went to all three.
And the after show, all three. That weekend was the best weekend ever. It was wake up, eat, Prince concert, after show. It was like the same routine for 3 days. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I should have been with you. I should have been with you. That's amazing. So with following Prince for a while, then you were like, oh, I can do some more traveling.
Exactly. I was like, I can do way much more. I just had to figure out how to do it. And really, what helped me, I know it's going to sound funny, but literally Google, how can I travel with no money? How can I travel and make money? Literally, I just Google things. And what first got my attention is not what I do now, but my friend, she wanted to move out to LA. So after college, we just did, the regular thing of, hey, let's move out to LA. We were broke. We didn't have any money. We had money just enough to like get an apartment. And it was like 7 of my friends sleeping in a studio apartment in LA. Yeah. So we were really that broke. But I came across a job that was like photography, the photography that they do at the big attraction sites where they pull you in and they start to take your picture and stuff like that. So I started doing those jobs, and those jobs had a lot of people who traveled or move around a lot. And so they started giving me some insight, and I did research myself. And so that's kind of how I started getting a little bit deeper into this seasonal hospitality work.
Yeah, it's funny. Once you meet somebody who's doing something, then you're like, oh, this is a thing. Like you never know it even existed until you talk to somebody else. That's one of the best parts of traveling. You get exposed to so much other new stuff. I learned about how to travel, like take a gap year, just by being on vacation in Brazil and talking to some dudes, and they were like, oh, we're here for 3 months and here's how. It's amazing once you step out of your comfort zone just a little bit. Everything
just a little bit, and that's all it takes is that little step, because you never know like what somebody else has done or what somebody else has experienced that can help you so much.
That's right. Okay, so this is the perfect time to get started talking about seasonal hospitality work.
Okay,
tell us everything you know.
So basically, what it is just like what it says in the name, seasonal. So I'm working probably for about 6 to 8 months throughout the year. I could work for more. It's literally up to you, your choice. And it's not like I'm working some fancy job. It's basically literally like a regular job, but it's just seasonal. It's a temporary position, but it's normal to the companies that I work for because they are seasonal companies. Okay. So they're either just open in winter or they're just open in fall or summer. So they have cutoff dates as well. So they don't need year-long full-time employees. But then again, that's not saying that you're making temporary money. Because even though growing up in Texas, you have full-time jobs, you hold all these jobs down. When I left Texas and when I started doing this, I'm making the same jobs I was doing back at home in Texas. You're making double the money, for less amount of work. And it's pretty amazing how you come out here and like you're struggling back home, but you just take one step out. And it's like, oh, okay, people living better than I am. People can do better than this. So, but literally, and what I use to find these jobs, sometimes I use Indeed. Indeed helps a lot. You just put in seasonal temporary work. Are jobs that provide housing. Now that's a big thing because you're traveling, you need a place to stay. Places to stay are expensive. So most of these jobs provide housing, and that's what I take advantage of as well. Sometimes the housing is free. Sometimes the housing is subsidized. Okay. So like where I'm at now in Aspen, the rent is $500. And for Aspen, that's pretty good.
Yes, yes.
The apartments here are way expensive, but the job offers
especially
subsidized
in wintertime.
Especially in winter.
So what are you doing? What is your job right now?
So my job right now, I'm a front desk night auditor at a resort. At a winter resort, literally right by the mountain, right by the ski resort. We get free ski passes, free skis, so I didn't have to pay for any of that. And I don't know if you know how expensive those winter activities are. Like skis can cost about $400, and the gear all together can cost you around like $1,200. But we get all of that for free as a benefit of working for this company for the season. So it's really good. So I can't wait to try skiing. Look forward for that.
Okay.
I can't wait for that. So usually it's mostly hotels, resorts that I'm working in. Okay. Sometimes there are big attractions as well. I also went to Australia when doing this, but I went on a visa. You have to get a visa to work overseas. I was on the working holiday visa, and that's open to anybody under the age of 30. When I got it, it was about $400. I'm not too sure about how much it costs now, but it allows you to work in Australia for a year at a job for up to 6 months at a time. You just have to take a break in between. So when I was in Australia, I did like photography, just like what I was doing in LA, just photography at big attraction sites, and you selling it back to the tourists. That was fun, and it was commission based, so you made a lot of money on that too. Yeah. And in Australia, they pay big bucks too. I was making about 22 an hour AUD in Australia, and that was pretty good for a job that didn't require a degree, any experience, or anything.
Let me stop you. So you made 22 Australian dollars an hour taking people's pictures at the park, at the amusement park?
Yep. It wasn't an amusement park. It was like a observation deck. It was called the Sydney Tower Eye. Okay. It's like one of the big observation deck in downtown Sydney where you just go up and you can see the whole skyline of Sydney. Okay. Yep. So I made 22 doing that.
Did you now the working holiday visa, for people who don't know, is a visa for people, generally it's for people under 30, yes, 18 to 30, who want to travel to another country and work, because you can't work everywhere. You don't have, it's like the US, you don't have permission to work there. Correct. For Americans, I know that Americans get working holiday visas in Ireland, Portugal, Australia,
and New Zealand.
Yes. Right. So those are popular places for Americans to go to get the visa, but generally you have to be under 30. Some of them are under 35.
Yeah. Some of them are under 35.
Did you have the job lined up before you got the visa?
For when I went to Australia, I did, because it was a part of the company that I was working for in LA. So I heard that, I heard that they were hiring in Sydney, and I was like, why not try? Why not do this? So I applied. I got it. You know, you apply just like a regular job. You do a Skype interview and you get the job. And, you know, I was already doing well in the company, so I had recommendations already. So that's what started me to get me overseas.
Okay.
So I had that job lined up before I went over.
Now,
what about? I just got the visa and went over.
Okay. And what about this Aspen job? How did you land this job?
With this job, so I've been looking at Aspen for a while because I always wanted to come. I use a website called Cool Works. That's COOLWORKS.com. Cool Works. And that has a lot of seasonal jobs on there at many different resorts, from like the resorts in Montana, Yellowstone, Colorado, Big Bear, Catalina, like literally everywhere, every place that's like seasonal on an island, or, you know, any tourist attraction that has a hotel resort there. That's where those jobs post their vacancies. So I was looking at this job for a while before I went to Martha's Vineyard. And I was in Martha's Vineyard as well. I don't know if I should make a timeline, but I did 2 seasons in Martha's Vineyard as well, doing the same thing, front desk night audit. Okay. And so once I saw that this Aspen job opened up, I've been looking at them for a while because you always hear about Aspen. And coming from Texas where you don't really experience a winter, I wanted to at least do one winter and see how it would go. Yeah. Okay. So I went to Cool Works. I saw that they were posting vacancies again, and they usually post, I want to say, about 2 or 3 months out that they need positions for the upcoming season. Okay. So that's when you want to start looking, because that's when jobs start to post. Some do post relatively like right when they need somebody, if they need immediate help. So if you're like up and ready to go, like you're just wanting to get out somewhere, sometimes they do have jobs that are like, hey, can you come work? We need you here in a week. Sometimes it is like that as well. I've done a quick job, just a couple weeks where they just needed a person for 2 or 3 weeks, and they provided housing and things like that, where you just do something really quick right there for the moment.
Do they provide transportation, or you have to get yourself there?
Some jobs do, but sometimes most of the times I've gotten myself there. Some jobs, they have discounts with like bus companies that come in and they can provide help with that. But most of the time I'm getting myself there. But usually it's not too much money. I know from my ticket to Aspen, I knew I was coming, so I bought the ticket a little bit earlier. I want to say the trip one way cost about $2 to $3 if I include luggage fees. So I would say if you get lucky, you could find a job who can pay for you to come out. There are jobs like that. You just have to look for that, and you just have to ask the HR person when you do your interview, because some jobs, they know that it's kind of hard to get out there, so they will offer some assistance to get out there. But if you don't need it, you don't really need it. You just get out there and you make the money back once you get there.
Right. So you've been in Aspen for about a week now. How's winter? I
think it's about a week and a half. Yeah. Oh, so we got the first snow right after I got here, and I was just like, what is this? But it's beautiful. It's cold and it's beautiful. I know. That's what everybody is saying.
I am team boycott winter. I'm in Mexico.
I know. No, but that's usually me. I chase the sun. I love the summer. I love the beach. But I was like, I have to experience it at least once in my life. You know, I've never seen snow like stick on the ground like this. I've never seen that fresh white powdery snow or the slushy wet snow. And it's pretty cool because you see a lot of wildlife out here as well. When I'm on my way to work, it's foxes, it's deer. I saw a glimpse of a bear one time. So it's pretty cool seeing these things in like their natural habitat, but it's like a residential habitat, but it's pretty cool.
Your pictures are beautiful. I think your pictures are beautiful, and I reject winter. Beautiful. So, okay. So you're there for the winter. Do you want to, can you tell us what you expect to make and how long you expect to be there?
Absolutely. So most shops let you know how long the season is. This season ends in about, I want to say, mid to end of April. That's when their winter season is. So I'll be here until like mid to end of April, depending on how early or how late I want to leave. The job, they started out training at 16, but since I had experience and I'm doing night audit shifts as well, I get $20 for night audit shift and 17 for just like a regular front desk shift. So so the pay kind of fluctuates based on your experience and what you can do. And most jobs that I have handled in the seasonal hospitality work, the lowest that I've been paid was probably about $14 per hour.
And how many hours a week are you working?
I work full time. So I do full time hours. Yep. So either 35, 40 hours, and working seasonal, it gives you ample time for overtime. So as much as you can work, and they let you work because they need people. Right. Most jobs aren't fully staffed when they have the seasonal work. So you can work, as much as you work, and that overtime is where it's set. It's where it's at. So, and that allows you, to save, and that allows you to do more activities when you're doing this work and travel. And so like when I usually do a job, I want to say I can make about 30,000 in 6 months. You can, I've done it before, especially on the Vineyard, on Martha's Vineyard.
Okay. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so when I was on Martha's Vineyard, the first hotel I worked at there was the Kelly House Hotel, and that's in the historic Edgartown. And I don't know if people know so much about the Vineyard, but it's over by Cape Cod, Nantucket. It's in those link of islands out there. It's off of the mainland, so that means you have to take a boat to get there. And most places that I work, they're secluded. It's not like a big city, so there's no chain restaurants, no fast food places. It's mostly residential and like little small homey towns. But the Vineyard is really big for tourism in the summer because it's beautiful there. You're surrounded around beaches, all around, because it's an island. Sailing, any summer activities there, you got it. And so I was working at a hotel there as well. I started off as just a front desk and ended up being a front desk housekeeping supervisor by the end of the season. So you can get promoted in those, even though you're working about 6 months at a time. Just because of the aspects of the job. It's not many people there. And if you do the job and do the job well, people acknowledge and people see that, and they can promote you. Your pay goes up, you get more money, you can save more, you can travel more. So my first season on the Vineyard was really fun. The only thing I regret about my first season is that I stayed to myself. I didn't really get to know a lot of people, but I still love the island. So that made me come back a second season as well. So that was just my last season that I was there. I was working at the Harborview Hotel as the front desk, working there and making about the same amount of money. And I want to say when I got out this season, I didn't really do too good this season because I had fun.
Yeah.
I was spending my money. Exactly. I was spending my money while I was on the island and traveling while I was working. So some jobs do give you days off because they know you travel. They know you love to travel. Yeah. So they won't like keep you there for 6 months and you have to stay there for 6 months. Some jobs allow you to get that time off to travel. And sometimes I take my days off because you're working a regular work schedule, about 5 days per week, 2 days off. Sometimes you can get 3 days off or 4 if you ask, and you can work during those times. And that's how I like to do. Either on my 2 days off, I like to take a quick trip somewhere, or I'll ask for more days off if there's a concert or if I want to go see a friend and go and travel and go see them as well. And I was doing a lot of that this summer, so I didn't make too much money. I didn't save too much money. Yeah. So that's why I decided to come work in Aspen as well, so I can save a little bit more.
So where are you staying? Okay, I'm sorry. So in Martha, you told us in Aspen, you're in an apartment, $500 a month. What about in Martha's Vineyard? Did you stay in the hotel? Or?
Yeah. So at the Kelly House, they had employee housing on site. So we literally stayed at the hotel just above the restaurant that they had on the property. And it was literally the same amount of rent. It was $500. And when I came at the beginning of the season, they have a lot of workers, so we had to share, but I stayed a little bit until the winter that first season. So I ended up having my own like little apartment for the same amount of rent, which is like $500 a month, for the end of that season. And they usually, you can either pay the rent out of your pocket or they can just take it out of your check. So like you never see it. You don't have to worry about it. Exactly. You don't have to worry like, I got to save this money for my rent. But some jobs just take it out of your check. You can opt for it anyway. And then when I was working at the Harbor View on the Vineyard, we had housing as well. They set us up in a very nice house in Edgartown. It was about, I want to say 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. The only downfall about it is that you will have roommates sometimes, and sometimes they do stick you in bunk beds. You know, sometimes they do cram you in there. So that would be the only downfall. If you're not really in tune with living with people or, you know, sharing your space, just ask the job, you know, what type of housing situation that they have. If you want a housing situation where you have more space, you're probably going to come out more for rent. Whereas having roommates and, you know, sharing a space, sharing a house, less rent, you don't have to pay as much. So like one of my roommates in our apartment now here in Aspen, she has her own room. So she's paying $800, whereas I'm sharing a room with one of my coworkers and we're only paying $500 a piece.
So. And you could always house sit. You could always find a house sit, and then you have your own space for a while.
Exactly. And I know there's probably a lot on the Vineyard. Have you ever looked there?
Never.
People leave their houses.
I know.
Literally in the winter, people board up their houses and they're gone. And I couldn't believe that. Like with the homeless problem of today, I'm like, you don't let people live there? Like I need to live there.
I know Canadians are really good about getting in a house sitter because they leave in the wintertime too. They just, they're out. They come down here to where I am in Mexico. But I know there are a lot of people who just don't bother to get a house sitter. I'm like, get a house sitter.
Get a house sitter.
Yeah. I recommend it to anybody who wants to see any part of the world, especially if you're willing to go in the off season. So you mentioned that you find jobs on Indeed and Cool Works. I'm gonna try to put that on the screen. If not, it'll be in the description. So if I don't figure out the text, put things on the screen. Just look in the description. We'll put a link to Cool Works and to Indeed. Any other sites that you can think of offhand, or those two?
I know Backstage is really good.
Okay.
If you're traveling with your partner or with a friend, what's that website called? It was literally just like couplejobs.com, COUPLE jobs.com, but it's a legit site.
Okay. It does not sound legit.
I know it doesn't sound legit, but it's a legit site. And I know I went there because I was thinking about traveling with my partner once, but it didn't happen. And they have seasonal jobs, like mostly bed and breakfasts, where they need like a innkeeper, a maintenance person, or an innkeeper and a chef. So if you're traveling with 2 people or with a friend, you can have jobs with that as well. And same with the hospitality work. They know people travel together. So if you're traveling with a friend and you get hired, your friend is more likely to get hired because you got hired and they know you want to travel together. So you can do that as well. And I know most people that you see in these roles when you come here, especially for the summer, are like J1 students. So students from Serbia, Romania, and European places like that. They come over and make money and take that money back, all that money that they make back home. So sometimes I feel really bad because I'm like, I'm just trying to travel and have fun. But they're really working to make money to take it back home, you know, because they make much less than we do. But
don't worry about it. Get your reparations, girl. Get your reparations.
Exactly.
So you see a lot of people from all over who do this kind of work. What kind of people, what kind of people do well at it, and what kind of people would just be better off not trying?
So the people who would do well at it are people with no conditions, no restrictions. I wouldn't recommend it to people who had kids. If you have younger kids that need to be taken care of, unless you can get somebody to take care of them, because I know it's hard. I have met some people who have done it. A lot of women from Jamaica, they come over, just that I met last season. They came over to work. They have kids and a whole family back home that their family is taking care of their kids, but it was really hard on them for staying out so long at a time and not seeing their kids and only having, video or phone to get in contact with their families. So I would say if you have like family and you're really family oriented, it would be tough for you because you're away, you're gone, you're working at this job for this amount of time. And I know that sometimes it's hard on people. I'm a family person, but I'm not too big on family. I'm like, okay, hi, mom and dad. I'm gone, mom and dad. I'm literally in and out. And it's been like that for a while. So they're used to it. But and then just if you're spontaneous, free spirited, and you love to travel and make money, because that's the type of person that this job is gonna really, that's the type of people that the jobs really want, is the people who like to travel, who like to do sports. Because just like I said, they don't need anybody, you know, full time year round. They want the person who's going to be there just for the season, who needs to make the money, so they know that they're going to work and they know that they're going to do a good job. And also the same with working in hospitality. You're working with people, customer service. So sometimes we deal with crappy people. If you don't like to get yelled at, if you don't like somebody to talk down on you, which you don't let people do that to you, but it's going to happen because you're in that role of work.
With rich people.
And we're working, we're working at resorts with higher end people who expect and demand a little bit more and think that they're entitled to things. So you're going to run into that. So you really have to know how to work around that and be empathetic to people and still give people what they need and not give in too much. And you know, you have to have a tough barrier. You can't come in like really innocent, and the jobs will teach you, you know, the jobs will teach you how to do things and problem solve. But you do get people who are really mean. You get people who are really nice. And those really nice people, they do tips sometimes as well. Even though you work in front desk, so you're not working a tip position, they'll slide you a little something now and then that you can put in your savings, and you'll have that, you know, once you get done with your job there. I know they were really good about it at the Vineyard. I'm not too sure about Aspen yet, but our job has an end of season bonus. So like our management company that owns the hotel, they give us a nice chunk of money that they made during the season. So we'll have that as well. And most jobs that I have run into are just looked at the job description. They have end of season bonuses for their workers as well. So in addition to the money that you're saving, you'll get a bonus from the place that you're working. It's probably up to a couple $100 to $1,000, depending on the company and how much they made during that season.
Great.
One more thing. I don't want people to feel like restricted to age range as well, because I've met senior citizens who do this as well. Like, I met older people who've done this as well. And I live with them. So in the age range of 50, 60, even 70, they do this as well, you know, and these jobs don't discriminate. They're not going to, you know, like work you like a mule where you're literally going to be back broken. It's regular work, regular hours, think just like a regular job. It's just seasonal work. That's it. But yeah, so don't let age try to scare you off saying like, oh, I'm too old for this. Don't think that at all. You know, I've seen everybody, every age range, every person do this. You know, sometimes I was stood aback because I would go into places that didn't have as many Black people. But don't let that hold you back as well. You know, don't let anything hold you back from trying to do anything and trying to travel, is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I hadn't even, that's a good point. That's a great point, because you're younger than me. and there are people who are older than me who still want to do it. That's a great point. Same thing with like the way I travel. It surprised me when I got out there and I was in hostels and there were people in their 50s and 60s in the hostels.
Exactly.
But you got to live your life.
You do. You have to.
What do you think you're going to do after this season is over in April?
After this season is over, I already made some plans because I heard that Earth, Wind, and Fire is doing a residency in Las Vegas. So I know I'm going to pop over there and see that. And I was going to connect with some friends that I met in the Vineyard who's in Romania. So I'm going to try to plan a trip to Romania. So to go over there and see them and get into some of the festivals that they're having. And it's going to be really fun for me because I've never been off during a summer. I'm always doing seasonal work during the summer. So this time I get to be off during the summer. I can save the money this winter. Usually I travel in the winter because it's cheaper, you know, and you go to the summer, you go chase the sun in other places because it's sunny everywhere else. So I usually travel in winter, but this time I'm going to work. But I'm going to try to go to Romania and see about my friends there. And I really haven't decided after that, but it's going to be something fun, possibly a cruise. I love doing a cruise after this because I do a thing like I treat myself because I work so hard. Even though I didn't work that hard, but
no, treat yourself.
I love to treat myself. Exactly. I love to treat myself. So I'm probably going to do a cruise as well because that's one of my favorite things to do after I do like a couple months on, just to like relax, eat all the food I want. So
have you ever worked a cruise?
no, but that is on my list. I applied I want to say before I got this job, but I haven't heard anything back. So I'm just going to keep trying. Yeah, keep trying and keep applying until I get something back. Because I would really love to work on a cruise ship. I know that would be something else that I really want to do.
All right. So is there anything else that people need to know about this life that I haven't covered?
Ooh, it's just if you do get into this, it's to remember to have fun. Like, I know I meet so many people who get caught up in it's seasonal work. I want to travel after this. So I'm just going to work to make the money. But you have to remember to have fun in the midst of it too, because you're in an amazing place. You're in a place where people are paying thousands of dollars to come too.
Yes.
So you want to enjoy that as well. And that's part of the thing why I love seasonal travel, is because you get to go to these places and it's just not a 1, 2, 3 day visit. You're here, you get to really experience this place and, you know, be a local for about 6 to 8 months. And, you know, you get to have fun and just get to do things here. Whereas people with a shorter time frame, when they just travel to visit, you have to scrunch everything in, but you can do things on your own time and you can be sure to do everything while you're here. And you can even come back if you want. So it's just to enjoy it while you're doing the work. So go to the beach, do the fun activities, go to all the events that they have for 4th of July, Christmas, or anything that they have. Go to those events and just, you know, get the most out of the experience that you're doing when you're doing your seasonal work.
Okay. I'm going to look for something in, I don't know, someplace warm.
They have it. Yeah. And when you go on Cool Works to go search, they do have it by season, by destination. So you can I want summer jobs, I want winter jobs. You can look by that as well. They have it all sorted out for you. So it's pretty easy. Good.
Thank you. I really appreciate you coming on and telling us everything that we needed to know. This has been this has been one of the most requested videos. Yeah. People are like, when I mentioned it on I don't know, Instagram or something, like, yeah, I need to know about this seasonal work. So I'm so glad you're here to talk to us about it. So everyone go follow Shel. She is on, let me read this. You're on Instagram and your IG is TheLord319.
Exactly.
Instagram. Follow her. You'll see some amazing Aspen pictures and
absolutely other places that I've been, everything, everywhere. Yep. And I travel in between, so you'll see the places that I travel to as well, in between my seasonal work. And don't be afraid to DM me if you have more questions. If you feel like I didn't explain everything, you know, get in contact with me. I'll do my best to reach out and provide as many answers as I can, because everybody needs to live life. I'm not a person who's for staying in one place, doing what society tells you to do. You know, I'm, just making your own path, create your own life. It's all about what you want to do. So I'm here to help, here to inspire. Anything you need to know, please ask. Don't be afraid to reach out.
I love it. That's how I know you. I DM'd you.
Yeah, exactly.
I need more information, please.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. Well, thank you so much, Shel. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
And if you're anybody who has any questions that you want to just put in the comments, go ahead and leave your questions in the comments. But definitely go follow her on Instagram and shoot her your questions.
Absolutely.
Okay. We both want you to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again.
Right, okay. My pleasure.
Thank you.